May I audible? Hello, may I audible? Okay. Good afternoon, all of you. Screen is visible. Okay. Okay. In the last lecture, we have started unit number 4, synchronization in distributed system. In that unit, we have completed first part, introduction part. In that, in last lecture, we saw what is the external clock synchronization, what is the internal clock synchronization. Today, we will start the next point is process migration. What is meant by migration? Before that, what is process? Process is the part of program. Okay. Next, what is meant by migration? Migration means we can transfer the data from one location to another location, or in the process migration, we can transfer the one process from one location to another location. The process migration deal with the movement of process from its current location to the processor to which it has been assigned. The relocation of the process from its current location to another node. Process may be migrated in the two types. First is the non-preemptive process migration and preemptive process migration. Okay, what is the exact difference between these two? Non-preemptive process migration means before execution start at the source node. For example, I want to send the data from source node to the destination node, but the sending process is not started at source node. At that time, this situation is called as non-preemptive process migration. Means yes, check either before it start executing on its source node is known as non-preemptive process migration. What is the preemptive? During the course of its execution, after sending the process from source machine to the destination machine, on the destination machine, our execution is going on. At that time, we'll do the process migration. This is called as preemptive process migration. And non-preemptive means before sending any process or before sending any data to the destination node, at that time we'll do the process migration. This is known as non-preemptive process migration. See here, this is the source node and secondly the destination node. In the source node, every time we follow the timer. At the time of sending the data to the receive side, we'll follow the timer. And if receiver want to send the reply to the sender, at that time they also follow the timer. Here, source node, they want to send the data to the receive side. Okay, see here, execution suspended means if the source node send the data to the receive side, okay, this execution suspended, this time is called as freezing time. Means for example, I have sent, I am the source machine. Okay, I have sent one request to the server. Then server receive this request, server start the execution, and after completing the execution, server give the reply to the source node. Okay, this time period, I have sent the request and I got the reply. Okay, the sending request and getting reply in between time is called as freezing time, because I have sent the request and immediately, not fraction of second, I receive the response. Okay, I require the time. I require the 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute. This time is called as freezing time, means time between sending packet and receiving reply. This between time is called as freezing time. Okay, in that freezing time, okay, we can transfer the transfer of control. Source node transfer the control to the destination node. If destination got the uh, request message, they can start the execution resumed. Okay, before sending any packet, before execution suspended. Okay, here before execution start, also we can process one in execution, means here we can transfer the process from source node to destination node. Okay, this is the freezing time pre-transfer. Okay, we'll see one by one here. Before that, preemptive process migration is costlier. Why? Because at the time of execution, we will apply the process migration. Preemptive means at the time of execution, we will apply the process migration. That's why this preemptive process migration is costlier. The process migration policy, we see one by one policy. First policy is selection of a process that should be migrated. Okay, right now I have the 1000 process. Okay, sender have the 1000 process, and sender cannot send all 1000 process to the receiver side. Okay, out of this 1000 process, uh, they have selected some processes. For example, they have selected 10 processes. Means out of 1000 processes, only 10 processes the sender should be migrated. Means this is selection of a process that should be migrated. Second, selection of the destination node to which the selected process should be migrated. Means only 10 processes should be migrated. Next is process migration mechanism. Actual transfer of selected process to the destination node. Okay, this is the there are four mechanism. First is the freezing, already you saw. Second is the transferring the process address space from its source node to destination node. Third is forwarding message meant for the migrant process. And last is the handling communication between cooperating process that have been separated as a result of process migration. Okay, we'll see one by one. Before that, address space transfer mechanism involve the two processes. First is process state and second is process address space. Okay, in process state consist of execution status, memory table, input output state, capability list, process identifier, process users and group identifier, information about open file. And in the process address space consist of code, data, and program stack. But what is the exact difference between process state and process address space? This process state have the normal fields. For example, execution status, memory, input output state, process identifier, process ID, process user and group ID. This is the normal fields are available in the process state. Now, what about the process address space here related to address? For example, see the size of the process address space several megabyte overshadow the size of the process state information few kilobyte. Means already you know the every computer machine have the address. Is it 32-bit address or 128-bit address? Depend on the IP version. IPv4 have the 32-bit and IPv6 have 128-bit address. Same thing in the process address space at the time of transferring the process, at the time of migrating the process from source node to destination node. Okay, we'll provide the process address space. In that, I have the code, data, and program stack. Okay, this mechanism, first mechanism is the total freezing, is related to time. Second is the pre-transferring, and third is the transfer on reference. Okay, here they have the given the activities, but they have the total 3 mechanism for address space transfer. First is the total freezing, second is the pre-transferring, and third is the transfer on reference. We see first is the total freezing. All of us see here. This is the source node. This is the destination node. See, if source node want to send the some data, okay, after sending the data, the source node enter in the execution suspended, and this execution suspended. After that, this time is called as freezing time. I repeat once again. जेव्हा आपण एखादी रिक्वेस्ट पाठवतो त्या टाइमला काय होतं, तो टाइम काय एक्झिक्युशन काय होतं, सस्पेंडेड होते, स्टॉप होतं, and this time is called as freezing time. And once the destination node receive this request, then they can start its execution. Means here execution resumed. Here we can call execution resumed. In between we can transfer of the address space. Okay, in the freezing time, the source node transfer the address space to the destination node. This is called as freezing time. First mechanism is total freezing. Second is the pre-transferring. What is mean by pre-transferring? Pre-transferring means before start the execution at the source node, okay, they make the decision, migration decision made. This is called as pre-transferring. I repeat once again. Pre-transferring means, okay, before sending any process to the receive side, before execution has started at source node, the source computer machine, they make the decision. This decision is called as pre-transferring. Means pre-transferring means we made the decision, this process number 10 will be transferred from source to destination. Means making the decision before execution at source node, this is called as pre-transferring. And what is the freezing time? Once the process is transferred from source to destination, the source machine is stop his execution and they can enter in the freezing time. And third is the transfer on reference. Transfer on reference means first is the pre-transfer means before starting the execution at the source node, we make the decision. Next, once the execution has started means source node, they can transfer the process from source to destination. In the destination machine, they can execution has resumed. Okay. Up to that, we have completed the freezing time and pre-transferring. Next is the transfer on reference. Transfer on reference means after the execution on demand transfer of address space. Okay, in the source node, okay, they can receive the some processes. After that also, the server or the destination node want to receive another processes on demand. On demand, this is called as transfer of address space. Transfer of address space. Okay, there are three mechanisms for address space transfer. First is total freezing, pre-transferring, and transfer on reference. Total freezing means if source node send the process to the receiver or destination node, they can stop the execution and they can enter in the freezing time. Pre-transferring means before execution has started at the source node, they make the decision. This decision is called as pre-transferring. And transfer on reference means once the see here, once the destination node receives some processes, with help of these processes, they got the reference. Okay, through this reference, they demand on another processes. This is called as transfer on reference. Okay, here we have completed the second point is process migration. Process migration means transfer the process from one location to another location. All of you got it? Process migration. Okay, next point is the thread. See, program have a number of processes. Single process have a number of thread. Means thread is the small part of program. It is a basic unit of CPU utilization used for improving a system performance through parallelism. We can call the in my program have the multi-threading, or in my program have only one thread has executed. Means this thread is the part of program. A process consists of an address space and one or more thread of control. Every process consists of the address space. Okay, in the last point, all of you saw register state and its on a any processor thread run in the quasi-parallel means time sharing, whereas on a shared memory multiprocessor, as many threads can run simultaneously as there are processes. There are two types of threading: single-threaded and multi-threaded processes. See here is the address space. Here we have the one thread. This is called as single-threaded. In this address space, have the 1, 2, 3 threaded, three threads. This is called as multi-threaded. Single program have multiple process. Single process have multiple thread. Already you studied this thread concept in operating system. Okay. Next part is the issues in synchronization. There are total 5 issues: clock synchronization, event ordering, mutual exclusion, deadlock, and election algorithm. We see one by one. First is the clock synchronization. Every computer need a computer clock to keep track of computer time and calculating the same calculating the time spent by a process in execution on processor. See, all of you see in your mobile also, mobile have clock, your computer machine have clock. Why this clock is required? Because this clock can keep the track of our computer. See, right now our lecture is going on. This clock keep the track. Okay, right now we have the 2 hours lecture. Then with the help of this clock, we'll see. Right now time is the 12:53 p.m. Means almost half an hour is over. Okay, means with the help of this clock, we is calculating the time. How much time is required for the execution of this particular program. That's why this clock is needed. Every computer need a computer clock to keep track of computer time and calculating the time spent, how much time is required to complete the lecture, or how much time is required to completion of the particular program. An application may have many processes that concurrently running on different node of the system. Because right now, see, right now in my computer machine, our lecture is going on. In another window, I have opened some Facebook website. In another window, I am listening the video song. Means in your computer machine, there are a number of processes are running simultaneously. For that also, we require the clock. Every node need clock that should be synchronized. What is mean by synchronized? See, all are using the mobile. In your mobile have the Jio, Idea, Vodafone SIM card. Means through this SIM card, all are accessing the internet. Okay, and in your mobile we got the clock from net, internet. That's why every mobile have the same time. See, all of you see in my mobile, I see the time 12:55 p.m. In your mobile also have the same time. Why? Because the internet clock has synchronized. The internet clock has synchronized. That's why everybody's mobile got the same time. This is the main benefit of the clock synchronization. Okay, for example, airline reservation, your railway reservation. Okay, for that we require the clock synchronization. We see the types of clock synchronization: external clock and internal clock. There are two types of the clock: external clock and internal clock. The external clock are required for real-time application, allow the system to exchange information about the timing with other system and users. The external time source used a UTC, coordinated universal time. See, for example, some international cricket match is going on another country, for example, Australia, New Zealand. Okay, for that country have the different UTC. our country have the different duties, because right now our time is going on the 12:58 p.m. but another country is the 12:58 a.m. because of this environment, because of these changes. Okay, everywhere clock have different time. Okay, means with the help of this UTC, is the coordinated universal time, they can display the time for every country. Internal clock provide a constant view of time across all the node of the distributed system. Provide the constant view of time across all the node of the distributed system. Right now, in the computer machine, my computer machine is connected to my Swery network. Then the Swery network show me the time. This is called an internal clock. And external clock means my machine is connected to the external devices, for like a router, and this router is connected to the external network. Same like the global time is called as external clock and local time is called as internal clock. Note, externally synchronized the clock are also internally synchronized, because right now our internet time is the 12:59. Same time in our mobile have the 12:59. Externally synchronized clocks are also internally synchronized. Okay, in the clock synchronized algorithm, there are two algorithms. First is the centralized algorithm, and the second is the distributed algorithm. We see one by one. The centralized algorithm, one node has a real-time receiver called time server node. The clock time this node used to correct the time of all the others node. The goal of this algorithm is to keep the clock of all other node synchronized with the clock time of the time server node. In centralized algorithm means same like in the centralized system, one server is there. This server is the clock server. For example, 10 client machines are there. This all 10 client machine, they send the request to the main server, and main server give the reply. Right now time is the 1 p.m. Then immediately all the computer machines are synchronized with each other. Also, this computer machine are synchronized with server, means server time, same time has displayed on the client machine. This is called as centralized algorithm. Depending the role of the server node, centralized algorithm are again two types: passive time server and active time server. Okay. In passive time server, each node periodically send a message to the time server. Passive time server, for example, we are the client. For example, all students are the client machine. They can send the request to the me. I am the server. Okay, you don't know the time. They send the request, time is equal to question mark. The server quickly responds with the message, time is equal to t. Means I have mentioned the time. The t is the current time of the server node. After t is the current time of the server node. This is called as passive time server algorithm. Passive time server algorithm means, I will repeat once again. Okay, the client machine want to time. At the time, all client machines send the request to the server. In the request, time is equal to question mark. And then server machine quickly give the response. In the response, they mention the time. Means when client node send a request of time, it clock time is T0. When the client node receive the time from server, it clock is the T1. Propagation time of the message from server to client is estimated to the T1 minus T0 divided by 2. This is the propagation between the server and client node. Therefore, clock of client node is readjusted to T is equal to T1 minus T0 divided by 2. Okay, this is the propagation time. But main motto is, what is the passive time server? The client machine want to time, all client machines send the request to the server. Server gives the response. In the response, they mention the time. This is called as passive time server. And next is the active time server. In this approach, time server periodically broadcast is clock time. Time is equal to T. See, what is the difference between passive and active? In the passive time server, if for example, out of 10 client, only 2 client want to time, these 2 clients send the request to the server machine. And server machine give the reply, and in the reply message they mention the time and give the reply to the particular 2 computer machine. What about remaining 8? The remaining 8 computer machine, they doesn't send the request. But what is the active? In the active, I am the server. I broadcast the time to everybody in my network. In my network have the 10 machine. I broadcast a time period. The time is equal to 1 p.m. Time is equal to 2 p.m. Okay, broadcasting without taking care about the request. In the active time server, they can broadcast the time, clock time, to everybody inside the network. This is called as active time server. Here also, the major fault, broadcast major message reached too late at the client node due to some communication fault. Clock of this node readjusted to incorrect value. What is the drawback of the active time server? You broadcast message reach too late at the client node. For example, right now, immediately you are the roll number 1 receive the fraction of second, they receive this time. But roll number 2, they receive the after the 5 minutes. Means this time variation occur in between roll number 1 and 2. In roll number 1, his or she mobile display the time is the 1:06 p.m. and roll number 2, the time has displayed 1 p.m. The variation out of why this 6-minute variation happened in between roll number 1 and 2, because of roll number 2 received this message late. Okay, this is the main fault of the active time server. Second is the broadcast facility should be supported by the network. Your network should be support the broadcast facility.
Okay. 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 I'm successful. Well.
Disadvantage of centralized algorithm: single point of failure, same like centralized system. Single point of failure: if time server node fail, clock synchronization operation cannot be performed. Okay, from scalability point of view, adding more node will put more burden on the single center server. This is same like our centralized system. One centralized system fail, whole system is slow down. We want to add the new node inside the network. This is the burden on the center server. Okay, the solution of this problem are distributed system. Already you know the distributed algorithm. Externally synchronize the clock, also internally synchronize the each node clock is independently synchronized with real time. All clocks of system remain mutually synchronized. There are types of internal synchronization, global averaging and localized averaging. Why distributed clock is required? Because of is centralize the clock. If center time server node is failed, the clock synchronization operation cannot be performed. And you want to add the some new node in our network, then in the centralized system they put the more burden on the single center server. Overcome this problem, the distributed algorithms has introduced. In the distributed clock synchronization, they have the two part, global averaging and localized averaging. In global averaging, each node broadcast is local clock time in the form of partial resynchronized message. Each node broadcast is local clock time in the form of partial resynchronized message. After broadcasting the time value, the clock process of the node wait for the time t. During this period, clock process collect the resynchronize the message broadcast by others. Clock process estimate the Q of its clock with respect to other nodes when message received. It then compute a fault tolerance average of estimated Qs and use it to the correct the local clock. What is the global averaging? Global averaging means, for example, the distributed system has the 10 node. Every node send the local clock time to everybody. In the distributed system, there is no server concept. Every system act as the server. All 10 computer machine, they can send the local time to the everybody. Then everybody receive this time. Okay. And they can, this message called as resynchronize the message. And everybody can update his own time and give the reply to the everybody. Means every computer machine, they can broadcast the message. They can broadcast the message to the all of you inside the network. This is called as global averaging. What is the localized averaging? Global algorithm was only suitable for small network due to broadcast facility, where node has direct communication to every other node, fully connected topology. This algorithm attempt to overcome the drawback of the global averaging algorithm. What is the drawback of the global averaging algorithm? This is suitable for small network. Why? Because of broadcasting facility. Right now in our computer center or in project lab have the 20 computer machine. Every computer machine, they want to broadcast the time. They do the broadcasting. But in the world, overall the world have the 1 million computer. 1 billion computer. And this broadcasting facility is not suitable for the large network. Broadcasting facility is suitable for the small network. Node of a distributed system are logically arranged in some kind of the pattern such as ring. You know ring topology. Periodically, each node exchange its clock time with its neighbor in ring and then set its clock time by taking average. Average is calculated by its own clock time and clock timer of its neighbors. What is the localized averaging? Okay, all computer machines are located in the ring format. And first node they send the local clock to the next node. Next node means neighbor node, neighbor to neighbor, neighbor to neighbor. This ring formatting is happen in the localized averaging algorithm. In the ring, we locate the n number of computer machine. A number of computer machine. Here we have completed first part is the clock synchronization. There are two types of clock synchronization: centralized the clock synchronization and distributed clock synchronization. Next point is the event ordering. Here we'll take the 5-minute break. We'll resume at 1:20 p.m. We'll take the 5-minute break. We will resume at 1:20 p.m. Okay. May I audible?
Yeah.
May I audible? Hello. Screen is visible. Give the reply in the chat box. May I audible? Hello. Okay. The next point is the event ordering. Okay. What is meant by event? You know, in our department, we are organizing the icon event. Okay, there are a number of events we are organizing. For that event, we require the time. For the arranging this icon event, we require the 1 hour, 2 hour, 5 minutes, whatever may be. Okay. Keeping the clock synchronized within 5-10 milliseconds in expensive task. Keeping, what is the problem? Keeping the clock synchronized within 5 or 10 milliseconds is expensive task. Lamport observed it is not necessary to keep the clock synchronized in distributed system. Then what will do? It is sufficient to keep all event to totally order. For example, we have the A to Z program. First 5 minutes we will execute the A program. After this 5 minutes we will execute the B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J up to Z. Means here it is sufficient to keep the all event be totally ordered. Okay, means we will follow the order. Means here we are not follow the synchronized clock. Here we have followed the event ordering. Means right now I have the 1 to A to Z event. Then every event I have given the 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes our event has changed. For partial ordering of the events, Lamport defined a new relation called happened before relation. We'll see the happened before relation. Okay. Before that, why event ordering is required? Because the clock synchronization in between the computer machines is expensive task. Overcome this problem, we'll follow the event ordering. What is this? Is the happened before relation. All of you see here in the happened before relation. All of you see that this diagram. Before that, happened before relation denoted by arrow on the set of event satisfy following condition. If A and B are two events in the same process and A occur before B, then we'll mention the arrow A, arrow B. See here. This is a process P1, process P2, and process P3. This is a time period. Okay. Here, E11, this happened before E23. See in the process 23. In the process of 2, P2, E21 happened before E13. E13 is available in the process 1. This is the happened before relation means here we have mentioned the relation. See, in the process 1, process 2, and process 3. Okay, this process 1, the relation between E11 of process 1 with E23 of process 2. Here, The relation between E11 and E23. Here, what is the happened before? Before 23, the E11 event has occurred. That's why here we have mentioned this arrow. Or see here, E10 arrow E11 means E10 is happened before E11. E20 to E24, E20 is happened before 24. Means here happened before relation means the two computer machine have the relation. For example, computer machine 1 has relation with machine 2. The machine 1 event has completed or happened before machine 2. This process is called as happened before relation. Happened before relation. All of you got it? This happened before relation. Every process have the relation with other process. This is the relation. This arrow is indicate that arrow has indicated that the relation between two processes. Okay, before relation has happened, this every event has occurred. Means E10 they have a relation with E11. Then before happening this relation, this E10 event has ordered or E10 event has occurred. Next is the logical clock concept. See here, logical clock concept. All of you see this diagram. Implemented logical clock by using the counter. And next, logical clock by using the physical clock. Okay. Okay. First, in the event ordering, first we have completed the happened before relation. Second, logical clock. In that, the first is the implementation of logical clock by using counters. See here, process P1. Process P1 and process P2. See, E is indicate that the event E01, this is the first event, E02, second event, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the event of the process 1. Process 2 have the event 11, 12, 13, and 14. E indicate that event. C indicate that counter. C1 is equal to 0, C1 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. These are the counter one have the values 0 to 8. I repeat once again. There are two processes. They want to communicate with each other. They want to build a relation between each other. At that time, the process P1 have the event E1 to E8, and process 2 have also event E11 to E14. Got it? Here, implementation of logical clock by using counter. See here, in left side they have the counter. Counter C1 is equal to 0 to 8. Got it? Then the event 4 of process P1, they want to relation with event 13 of process P2. Here we require the times time is equal to 4. Times time is equal to 4. Then the C2 then the counter of the process P2, C2 is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, whatever may be. See here. This is process P1 have the 0 to 8 counter. Process P2 have the 0 to 8, 0 to dash 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 counter. Okay, here C2 0 1 2, then C2 is equal to 3, but the E13 they receive the timestamp 4. E13 they receive the timestamp, means from E04 they can transfer the process to the E13, they require the timestamp 4, but here counter value is the 3. See, this is 3, they mention the dash. Okay, the counter is the 3, but timestamp is the 4, means since 3 is less than timestamp 4, but our counter should be greater than timestamp. This is the condition. What is the condition? The E04 they can transfer the event, or they can happen the event, they can transfer the event to the E13, they require the timestamp 4, and we do the comparison. Your current counter should be greater than timestamp. If no, see, our current counter is the 3, C2 is equal to 2, here C2 is equal to 3, current counter is 3. Since 3 is less than timestamp 4, then we can remove this 3 and we can increase the counter 4. 4 is greater than timestamp 4? No. Then we mention the 5. 5 is greater than 4? Yes. Means our counter should be greater than timestamp. This is the main condition. Then C2 is equal to 5. Of course, the next counter is the C2 is equal to 6. What it? Next counter is the C2 is equal to 6. Then E14 of process 2, they will maintain the relation with E8 of process P1, and they require the timestamp 6. And E8 have the counter 8. Our 8 is greater than 6. Yes, that's okay. Means implementation of logical clock using counter. Here one condition is there. The counter value should be greater than timestamp. If no, then increase the counter value. Increase the counter value. This is the implementation of logical clock by using counter. All of you understood? Implementation of logical clock by using counter. Next, implementation of logical clock by using physical clock. See here we saw the counter. Implementation of logical clock by using counter. Here we'll see implementation of logical clock by using physical clock. See here, this is a process P1, this is a process P2. Process P1 have the event 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Process P2 have the event 11, 12, 13, 14. See here. These are the physical clock timestamp. See here, event 4, the timestamp is the 60, and here event 13, the timestamp is the 56. What is the condition? This received timestamp should be greater than 60, correct? The received timestamp should be greater than sender timestamp. Here 56 is greater than 60. No. Then we can increase the 57 greater than 60. No. 58, 59, 60 greater than 60. No. 61 greater than 60. Yes. Then we can update the timestamp. See here. Physical clock time after correction. We can correct the timestamp 61. What it? I repeat once again. Implementation of logical clock by using physical clock. Here, the process P1 have this 8 event, process P2 have the 11, 12, 13, 14 event. Right? Then event 4, they want to communicate with event 13. Okay. Before that, in the process 1, they can increase the time with 10 time, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. And process 2, they can increase the time 8, 16, 24, 32, means plus 8. They can increase the time plus 8. Here plus 10. Process P1, they mention the plus 10. Here process P2 have the plus 8. Then event 4 of process P1, they maintain the relation with event 13 of process P2. But the process P2 times time is not greater than received times time. 56 is not greater than 60. Then we can increase the 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61. 61 is greater than 60. Yes, correct. Means our updated time is the 61. Then after that, we can update our table or update our column. 61 plus 8, 69 plus 8, 77 plus 8, 85 plus 8, 93 plus 8, 112. Means physical clock time after correction. We can physically update the time. This is called as implementation of logical clock by using physical clock. And here, implementation of logical clock by using counter. Here, we have increased the counters. And here, we have increased the physical clock times after correction. Next, see here, event 14, they want to relation with event 8. The updated time is the 85. This 85 and this 120. 120 is greater than 85. Okay, keep as it is. Means physical clock times if no correction were made. This first column of process P1 and first column of process P2, the physical clock time if no correction were made. And process P1, the second column of process P1 and second column of process P2, the physical clock time after correction. This is the corrected time. Why? Your received time should be less than existing timestamp. This is the main condition. See here, 60 is less than your 56. If no, then you can increase the 56. 57, 8, 9, 10, 60, 61. 61 is greater than 60. Yes, okay. The 61 is the updated physical clock. Then after that, we can add the plus 8, plus 8, plus 8, plus 8. This is the implementation of logical clock by using physical. Physically, we can update the clock. And before the logical clock by using counter, here we can increase the counter values. Correct? Here we have completed the event ordering. The main part of the event ordering is the happened before relation. In that we have saw the logical clock. We have completed the logical clock by using counter and by using physical clock. The next point is the election algorithm. Already you know the why election is required, because we are the voters who can elect the coordinator. We have elected MLA. We have elected the MPs. Same thing in the election algorithm also. We can elected the particular node. This node is act as the server, or we can call this server have the authority. The election algorithm are meant for electing a coordinator process from among the currently running processes in such a manner that at any instant of time, there is a single coordinator for all processes in the system. See, we see the example of the Pandharpur Taluka. In the Pandharpur Taluka, we have elected the MLA. Okay, means among the people, see, we have the 10 lakh people. Among these 10 lakh people, we have elected the one person as a MLA. This is the main coordinator. Election algorithms are based on following assumption. Each processing system has unique priority number. Whenever an election is held, process having highest priority number among the currently running processes is elected as coordinator. In the election, those who are got the topmost votes, he or she has elected as a MLA. Same here. Whenever an election has held, process having highest priority number, process having highest votes among the currently running processes, among these members, he or she is elected as coordinator. On recover, a failed process can take appropriate action to rejoin the set of active process. Okay, there are two types of election algorithm, Burley algorithm and ring algorithm. First is the Burley algorithm. Here, when a process PI send a request message to the coordinator and does not receive the reply within a fixed time out period, it assumes that coordinator has failed. In this algorithm, for example, we have elected one coordinator and one process, they send the request to the main coordinator, but this coordinator has unable to give the reply, then this process is assumed that the coordinator has failed. It initiates election by sending an election message to every process with higher priority number than itself. I repeat once again. In this algorithm, we have the 10 process. Out of this 10 process, the P1 process has elected as a coordinator. Right now, P1 process act like MLA. And remaining 9 processes, they are the, you can call the peoples. Okay, then P2 process want some message from P1, then this P2 process send the request to the coordinator. Coordinator, who is the coordinator? P1 process. But this P1 process unable to give the reply to the P2 process. Then this P2 process, it assume that the coordinator has crashed or lost, whatever may be. Then they can immediately sending an election message to the everybody. Everybody means P2 send the election message to P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, P8, P9, 10, or remaining processes. If PI does not receive response in time out, means it has higher priority. Okay, and in that message they have mentioned, okay, the higher priority number than itself. Means P2 has mentioned its own higher priority number to everybody. Means remaining processes, they can receive the message with priority number of P2. If P3 have the higher priority number than P2, then they give the reply. Otherwise, they can keep quiet. But P3 to P10, all are receive the higher priority number from P2, and all this P3 to P10, they don't have the higher priority number. Then all this P3 and P10, they can keep quiet. Then P2 will think I am the higher priority number. Then what will do? It will become coordinator and will inform all processes through message. Then P2 will think, out of this 9 members, my priority number is higher. Then I have elected as the coordinator, and they will inform these messages to the all the processes. If PI receive reply means other processes with higher priority number. If PI means P2 receive the higher priority number from P5. Then this P2 will think the higher priority number members are available. Higher priority number processes are available among us. Then this P2 receive reply means other processes with higher priority are available and does not take any decision and wait for messages of coordinator. When process PJ receive an election message, it informs sender that is alive and okay, what maybe. I was given this example. I repeat once again. In this Burley algorithm, we have the 10 processes. This first process number we have elected as a coordinator. Process P2 send some request to the P1, but this P1 process unable to give the reply to the P2. Then what will do? Then P2 will assume that our P1 has lost or crash or fail, whatever may be. Then P2 will send the election request to the member 3 to member 10 or member 3 to member 10. And in that they have mentioned the P2's highest priority number. Then process P3 to P10, they receive this request from P2. Then they compare this priority number with itself. Then P3 to P10, all processes have the lower priority number, then they doesn't give any single reply to the P2. If P2 doesn't receive any reply, then P2 will think I am the coordinator because my priority number is higher. This is the first condition. Second condition, if P2 receive the reply message from P5, then P2 will think the higher priority number processes available in the network. Then they will give the reply to the P5, and right now P5 is selected as the coordinator and they will send the message to the all of you. This is the first algorithm. Second algorithm is the ring algorithm. Already you know the ring. Processes are arranged in the logical ring format. Every process in the system known structure of ring. If successor of sender process is down, successor means next. If successor of sender process is down, it can be skipped until active member is achieved. When PI request coordinator and it is down, it will wait for timeout. It initiate election by sending election message to successor. Message contain priority number of the process PI. Each successor will add its priority number on receipt. It will circulate and reaches PI. PI recognize its own message due to first priority number. It selects the higher priority number processor. It then circulate coordinator message to all active processes to tell them. It delete coordinator message after complete round when message comes. Okay, in the ring, we have the 10 processes. All are located as a ring format. Then The first process send the election message to the all of you. In the successor send the message to the next successor. Everybody give the reply. In the reply, they have mentioned the priority number. Then here, whose priority number is highest, this process is elected as a coordinator. But here is the all processes are located in the ring format. Keep in your mind. In the ring format. Okay, means there are two types of election, Burley algorithm and ring algorithm. Up to that, any question? All of you understood? Election algorithm. In your mind, you can keep one example how we are electing our MLA. This is the election algorithm. Okay, up to that, any question? All of you understood the election algorithm. There are two types of election algorithm, Burley algorithm and ring algorithm. The last point of this chapter number 4 is distributed consensus algorithms. Distributed consensus algorithm. This is the last point of this 4th chapter. A fundamental problem in distributed computing and multi-agent system is to achieve overall system reliability in the presence of number of faulty processes. This often requires coordinating processes to reach consensus or agree on some data value that is needed during computation. Okay, in the distributed consensus algorithm means if we have the 10 processes, all 10 processes have communicating with each other, but immediately process number 9 has got fault, then what will do? The remaining processes, they will do the coordination with each other and they can recover this fault. This is called as distributed consensus algorithm. I repeat once again, we have the 10 processes. Out of these 10 processes, the 9 number process have got fault. Then remaining 9 processes, they will make the coordination between each other, and with help of this coordination, they will solve this problem or solve this fault. This is called as distributed consensus algorithm. A procedure to reach a common agreement in distributed and decentralized the multi-agent platform. It is important for message passing system. Means here coordination between each other means we have maintained the agreement between each other. The real world application often requiring consensus include the cloud computing. Right now in the cloud computing, we require the coordination between each other. Clock synchronization, already we saw. Page rank, opinion formation, smart power grid, state estimation, control of UAVs, load balancing, blockchain. This is the latest technology and so on. Means distributed consensus algorithms are used everywhere because here agreement is the main part. Agreement between each other, coordination between each other. This is the happened in this distributed consensus algorithm. What are the features? It ensures reliability and fault tolerance in distributed system. It ensures reliability and fault tolerance in distributed system. It is presence of faulty individuals. It is ensure correct operation. Okay, if out of 10 process, if process number one got fault, then remaining 9 processes, they will make the coordination between each other and they will solve this fault. Example are the commit a transaction in a database, state machine replication, clock synchronization. These are the example. Next is the how to achieve distributed consensus. There are some conditions that need to be followed in order to achieve distributed consensus. First is termination. Every non-faulty process must eventually decide. Here I have mentioned non-faulty. Every non-faulty process means remaining 9 process has non-faulty process must eventually decide. Agreement. The final decision of every non-faulty process must be identical. Agreement between each other, agreement between the processes. The remaining 9 process must be identical. कोणते कोणते प्रोसेस आहेत ते फॉल्टी नाही ते आयडेंटिकल करायच्या and then after they make the agreement between each other. Validity. Every non-faulty process must begin and end with the same value. And integrity. Every correct individual decide at most one value and the decided value must be proposed by some individual. Means termination, agreement, validity and integrity. These are the we can achieve the distributed consensus. Termination, agreement, validity and integrity. Application of distributed consensus. Leader election in a fault tolerance environment for initiating some global action without introducing a single point of failure. Maintaining consistency in a distributed network. Suppose you have different nodes monitoring the same environment. The next sentence is very important. If one of the node crashes, the consensus protocol ensure robustness against such fault. One of the node has crashes, then this consensus protocol ensure robustness against such fault. Means we already saw this example. Remaining 9 process, they have maintained the coordination between each other and they will think to solve this fault. Means the consensus protocol ensure robustness against such fault. Got it? Here we have completed the distributed consensus algorithm. All of you understood? Here we have completed the unit number 4. In that unit number 4, we have completed the introduction part, process migration, threads, clock synchronization, event ordering, election algorithm, and distributed consensus algorithm. All of you understood the unit number 4? If anybody have a question, please ask the question. All of you understood? Here we have completed the section 1. Means we have completed the total 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the next lecture, we will start the section number 2. Means unit number 5. Up to that, anybody have any question? If you have any question, please ask the question. If you have you don't have any question, please one by one you can drop out. We will stop here. Thank you. In the next lecture, we'll see the next unit, unit number 5. Up to that, we have completed total 4 units. Means here we have completed the section number 1. If you don't have any question, your attendance is auto recorded. That's why you should mention your roll number underscore, sorry, division underscore roll number underscore name. Those who are not follow this procedure, please follow this procedure. Your name should be like division underscore roll number underscore name of student. I repeat once again, your name should like division underscore roll number underscore name of student, and your attendance is auto generated. Your attendance is auto generated. Okay, you don't have any question, we'll stop here. In the next lecture we'll see the next unit, unit number 5. Thank you.